leaders in the pro-life movement. They're going to walk us through what's going on with the March for Life and talk about these policies. Two other quick things, though, I want to get to. One, just a quick heads up. We had Jim Jordan on earlier this week. We asked him if he was going to run for Senate. He has just announced he's not going to run for the Senate in Ohio. That's a big development. But last, I got to get to this. PETA, the People for Ethical Treatment of Animals, who is actually, for what it's worth, piece of trivia here, technically labeled a domestic terrorism group. Well, they are taking woke to a whole new level. The group claims calling someone an animal implies that humans are superior to animals. And PETA says that's insulting to the animals. So they tweeted a chart of insults that perpetuate this. And let me show you some of the suggested alternatives. You shouldn't call someone a chicken. No, call them a coward. And if they lie to you, or if they talk to the cops, or they inform on you, you know, you're committing some kind of crime, do not call them a rat. Call them a snitch. It's insulting to rats to do that. Same thing with someone being a snake. Not anymore, folks. They're a jerk. Use the right word. And pig? No, 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 folks. You call those people repulsive. Last but not least, if they're lazy, you call them lazy. Do not insult sloths, folks. This has gone too far. And by the way, I don't want to go here, but I'm going to give them a suggestion. Maybe they want to call out the president for using one of these terms. Take a listen.
God love you, man. You're a one-horse pony, I tell you.
One-horse pony. He's a one-horse pony. Remember, he also said that thing earlier last year on the campaign trail about pony soldiers. Yeah. Listen, I'm just going to say this now. Mr. President, I want to help you here. We've got to stop using that. That's an insult to ponies and soldiers. All these ponies that are in the Army serving, you know, honorably, it's an insult to the pony, sir. Stop using these insulting terms. No more calling things pony soldiers. It's got to end. We've got to make a commitment to do better. Everybody, please stop calling people rats. I mean, it's gone too far.
Yeah.
What has society become? Yeah, this is. We're going to try to make people better through this show, and hopefully you've learned something in this A block. All right.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.
Before we get to the politics of today, have you paid attention to this story about GameStop? It's been drama. Its stock surged yesterday and then started falling, apparently. This is all the talk in the finance world. But it wasn't just GameStop. It was other companies as well, like BlackBerry and AMC and Bed Bath & Beyond.
Yeah, I never realized that this would be the company that would drive stock markets nuts. When it comes to politics, campaigns, how government operates, I like to think that, we know our stuff here. But I was trying to read up on this whole GameStop thing. And honestly, I'm not entirely sure how it all really went down without getting into the technicalities of how stocks are shorted and all that kind of stuff works, which, to be honest, is something that neither of us really is an expert on. I think what this thing really was about was sort of how big-time Wall Street investment firms had the tables turned on them, and they did not like it. No. These big brokerage firms, the machinery, the high-powered computer systems, all these savvy traders, they were all shoved aside, Lindsay, by an army of individual investors who kind of seized the power, driving the stock way up. So all these guys who had shorted it had to then go back in and buy it again. It kind of turned the pros on their heads, and it drove the street nuts. It almost became like a game into itself. I still haven't figured it all out yet. I've been trying to read up on it all day, and no one really saw this thing coming, and a lot of folks who didn't get in it seem rather jealous. And it seems like they had tried to rig the game and then came out on the losing end. But, as I was thinking about this and how it does relate to politics, the story's kind of part of an emerging theme. These powerful and elite folks just don't get it. For example, we've been talking about the impact on thousands of jobs by President Biden's executive orders, halting the Keystone Pipeline, rejoining the Paris climate deal, and this newest unveiling of the new Green New Deal. Yesterday, John Kerry, who's the former senator and Secretary of State, who also happens to be the husband of the heiress to the Heinz fortune, very of the people there. He is also now Biden's climate czar. He dismissed job losses from the Keystone Pipeline and some of these other executive actions and suggested that the government knows what's better for Americans than they do. Listen to him.
The fastest growing job in the United States before COVID was solar power technician. The same people can do those jobs, but the choice of doing the solar power one now is a better choice. They've been fed the notion that somehow dealing with climate is coming at their expense. No, it's not.
You know, Kerry's being called out of touch for good reason, because his wife, Sean, is worth somewhere between $250 and $750 million, according to several sources. And even Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton called out Kerry in a tweet saying John Kerry, who flies in a private jet, owned a 76-foot yacht and several mansions, has the carbon footprint of a small nation, yet he tells energy workers that they can find a job and make solar panels when the Biden administration puts them out of work. Yeah, I'm sure that's easy just to get another job, you know, once you literally lose one because you worked in some type of other energy source.
Yeah, you just walk down the street, you go to the door that says solar and energy jobs and say, hey, I'd like to take one. And they say, absolutely, go right now. And there's no wait. That's how it works, right? I mean, I think that's what they think sometimes. Yeah, it's very simple. You just, when you lose your job, you just go get another one equal pay, you know, with the benefits and all that. They usually sometimes give you a bonus too, if I got it right. But I want to switch subjects a little, stay on the same theme though, of course, because according to a CNBC report,